The Giants dismantled the Patriots. Congratulations, Giants. You won 42-10 in a game that doesn't mean anything. Giants are undefeated in the preseason for the first time since 2019. They finished that year 4-12. I think of the 2008 Lions, who were undefeated in the preseason, and they finished that year 0-16. So it really is. And yes, I would prefer 20 regular season games and no preseason games. I think preseason games are horrible. They're an abomination. They're fake. They're phony. And the sooner there's no preseason, the happier I'll be. I just won't live long enough to get to the point where we move the needle. 14-6, 16-4, 17-3, 18-2, 19-1, 20-0. One of these days, that needle's going to be on 20-0, but I'll be 6 feet under.
You'll be 6 feet under, and I'm glad you said that, because when you mentioned earlier today that people in their 80s, they kind of lock into who they are. I was thinking, not Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom at 80 is going to take that sports car, boom, go off the cliff. So he says.
You remember?
So he says. I'm not getting worse in my 80s.
If I make it to 80.
But I will say.
Yeah, I'm not going to have a chance to get worse in my 80s.
That's right. Just go ahead. As soon as you turn 80, get the car of your choice and then go off the cliff, and who knows. But I'm with you with the games. Last night, unfortunately, I'm watching in the fourth quarter, Giants-Patriots, and said, okay, can we just skip the 2-minute warning? Let's just keep going. Now, of course they didn't. 2-minute warning. First play after the 2-minute warning, they threw a flag. I said, come on. It's almost 11 o'clock. Why are you throwing a flag in this game that is not competitive at all? These games mean very little, but I will say this for the Giants, for most Giants fans, these games do mean something, because what are they going to do? We can see this coming. It's very predictable. You look at it's not Tommy DeVito anymore. That's not the guy, even though he played well last night. The guy is Jaxson Dart. So I think Giants fans look at it and say, Russ, see you later. Jameis, you're good. You're great comic relief. Tommy DeVito, you're so 2023. We want Jaxson Dart. He had a great game last night. Had a great preseason. So I think, Mike, we're going to be hearing about that probably after their first loss or two. When are we going to see Jaxson Dart? That's going to be the story in New York.
Tommy DeVito had a great night, 17 for 20, 198 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, passer rating of 147.5. And, we've talked a lot lately about the Browns and their never-ending quarterback carousel, which no one ever gets off. They just get more people on, and they have six on the 90-man roster. The Giants have 4. I viewed it as a given that Tommy DeVito will be waived and then signed to the practice squad if he clears waivers. After a night like last night, I don't know. Does he clear waivers? I don't know. Does somebody snatch him? I don't know. But beyond him, assuming that he won't be on the final roster, and I'm assuming that is the case, do you keep Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston and Jaxson Dart if Dart's going to be taken over, or do you pick one or the other to be the backup and trade the other one? There are teams out there that are looking for quality number 2 quarterbacks. And earlier this week, Giants are saying we're not going to trade Jameis Winston. We're not going to do it. Well, okay. It's just like Michael Parsons. I'm not going to sign that contract, and then you put the offer on the table. It's like, maybe I will. Maybe somebody will make the Giants an offer they won't refuse for Jameis Winston or for Russell Wilson. I've been saying that, the Cowboys desperately need number 2 they can trust. I'd like Russell Wilson behind Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott's missed 26 games since 2020. I'll take Russell Wilson as the backup. I'll take Jameis Winston as the backup. But I don't know. Do you think the Giants, if you're the Giants, if you know Dart's going to be the guy sooner than later, do you keep 2 veterans as his backups?
I would say no. Mike, think about it. I think Jameis Winston has proven that he can be a good backup quarterback. He's great to have in the locker room. Guys like him. Russell Wilson will struggle to be a backup quarterback. He sees himself as a starter, so that's going to be a problem. But just imagine with that third with 3 quarterbacks, one of those guys is your emergency quarterback. Can you see that being Russell Wilson? I can't. I can see it, but I can't see him being happy with it. I can't see Jameis Winston being happy with being the 3rd quarterback. Good backup, 3rd quarterback. Oh, that may be a little much. And I don't know if you do that with Jaxson Dart. So they have a surplus, and it would make sense to move on from one of those guys. Probably, it would probably have to be, if you're just thinking about the psychology of the room, it'd have to be Russell. Because Jameis is fine with being a backup. I don't think Russell Wilson is.
And Russell Wilson's making more money, which complicates the trade effort because you're absorbing a larger contract if you're the new team. But there could be a team out there that has seen enough from Russell Wilson in the preseason to think, okay, maybe, just maybe. But the problem is there was no land rush for Russell Wilson. And at $10.5 million, it's among the lowest veteran contract out there for a starter. Not that he's going to be the starter for very long. It's $10.5 million guaranteed, and he can make another $10.5 million, I believe. He's got to play to make it. And I don't know, do they just hold on to all 3 of them until somebody loses a starter and then somebody coughs up too much? It's already been how many years now? 9 years. The year that Teddy Bridgewater, almost to the day, has the horrible knee injury in a practice. The Vikings gave up a 1st-round pick and a 4th-round pick for Sam Bradford. And I remember Rick Spielman, the GM at the time, explaining, nobody's doing you any favors when you're in that spot. They're jacking up the price. So the Giants could be in a position to name their price if somebody loses their starter to a torn ACL. Hell, I stopped short of naming names. I'll allow you, the viewer, to name the names. Just like in, and I knew I'd find a way to plug it today, in my book Big Shield, which is surprising me with its sales because I expected none. I don't have NFL team names. I just have Las Vegas, Baltimore, Minnesota. Don't want to be sued by the NFL for infringing on their copyrights or their trademarks. But I can't stop you, the reader, from associating Raiders with Las Vegas. I can't stop you if you're going to do it. So I can't stop you from, on your own, thinking of the players who could be one snap away from done for the year. And enter Russell Wilson, enter Jameis Winston, enter Kenny Pickett, any of these guys out there that are currently on a roster. And there's value. There's value. You're holding that asset until the value goes up. So I think the Giants, I don't know, maybe they need to find a way to do that. Maybe they need to carry 3 for a little while because maybe there's going to be benefit. But the problem is every extra roster spot that goes to your quarterback position is one less player you have at other positions where you may want to have those players available.
Yeah, that's true. And I said that they should move on from, out of all their quarterbacks, which guy wouldn't be comfortable with being a backup? Yeah, it's Russell Wilson. But then if you trade him, he's going to be a backup somewhere else. I mean, I can't think of a team in the league right now that would say, we need a starting quarterback and Russell Wilson is going to be that guy. It's not going to be in Cleveland. Joe Flacco is their guy. It's not going to be Russell Wilson. It wouldn't be Indianapolis. They wouldn't take Russell Wilson over Daniel Jones. I don't even think the Saints, who haven't named their starter yet, I don't think the Saints would say, hey, we've had Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shuck all year, all camp. Let's bring in Russell. So it's do you want to be a backup here or do you want to be a backup somewhere else ultimately? I mean, he'll be the week 1 starter, but I got to tell you, Mike, it won't be long. Maybe Jaxson Dart has surprised them with how quickly he's picked up things and how comfortable he looks. It won't be long before Jaxson Dart takes that job.
In 2004, Kurt Warner had the job for 9 games, was 5-4, got benched for Eli Manning. So when Jaxson Dart is ready, when they think he's ready, they're going to go with him, whether they're winning or losing. They're going to go with him. And look, I have been encouraged by what I've seen from Russell Wilson so far in this preseason. I have. He had that great 80-yard pass down the middle of the field the other night. But the problem is if you accept the trade now, you're going to be number 2, and you're only going to play if the number 1 in front of you gets injured. If you wait, like Kirk Cousins, if you wait, lightning may strike somewhere. Lightning probably will strike somewhere, and all of a sudden the phone rings, and we want Russell Wilson, or we want Kirk Cousins, or we want Kenny Pickett, or we want Jameis Winston. And that's where it gets interesting, because you're going to have multiple guys potentially available if and when there's a serious injury to a quarterback